Okay, last one, or I really will be accused of being the Grinch. If I asked you to name a song about the wise men, the first one that would come to your mind is probably We Three Kings. And actually, there's loads to love about this song, apart from that first line. But the Bible never refers to them as three kings. These men were members of a group called the Magi. They were not kings, but they were often brought in by kings for their coronation. They were people who brought with them a real reputation of wisdom and learning and understanding. So they were not kings, but in a sense they were king makers brought in to crown others in the ancient world. In fact, what they did do with most of their time was study religious documents from various cultures. So evidently, at the time of Jesus' birth, some of the Magi had studied and were familiar with a prophecy that comes from the book of Numbers that talks about a star rising in Israel, which will signify the birth of the Saviour of the world. So they come in search of that Saviour. There were three gifts, but we have no idea how many Magi came along. Probably more than three. There's safety in numbers. You're traveling across country in the ancient world. You would want to know that you can protect those valuable gifts that you're traveling with. So probably more than three of them. Oh, and they traveled from neighboring Persia in all likelihood. When we hear the word Orient or Oriental, we tend to think of Asia, which will give us entirely the wrong picture of where these three apparent kings came from. So in that opening line, we three kings of Orient are, the only reliable words are we, of, and are. So that's why it meets the brief as a clumsy Christmas carol. Here's the question that I think we ought to ask though. These wise men did get up and leave. They did travel into a foreign country that was unfamiliar to them. They were willing to give gifts of great value to a little baby. The question is, why? Who do they believe this baby to be? Well, not any old baby, but the fulfillment of that ancient promise. They thought he was the King of Kings. They thought he would save the world. And they were exactly right. Jesus is the Son of God and Saviour of the world, come on a rescue mission to seek and save lost souls. And those truths give us more than enough to sing about.